As the narrator of my own story, I find myself compelled to recount the unraveling of my marriage, a tale fraught with love, betrayal, and the agonizing decision to confront the unforgivable. My name is Travis, and at 32 years old, I thought I had found my soulmate in Lauren, a woman 5 years my junior. From the moment I met her at a friend's party 9 months ago, her beauty captured my attention, drawing me into a whirlwind romance that would ultimately lead to heartbreak. Despite warnings from friends about Lauren's wild streak in ever-changing relationships, I was undeterred, entranced by her fearless spirit and unwavering zest for life. Our conversations flowed effortlessly, and with each passing day, I found myself falling deeper under her spell. After just 6 months of courtship, I was certain that Lauren was the one I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. Against the backdrop of a breathtaking sunset on a private island, I dropped to one knee and proposed, my heart brimming with hope and excitement. And when she said yes without hesitation, I believed that our love was destined to conquer all. Our wedding day was nothing short of magical, a celebration of love and commitment that captivated the hearts of friends, family, and even strangers. The media and social media alike buzzed with excitement over our fairy tale romance, showering us with well wishes and congratulations. Yet beneath the veneer of bliss, cracks began to appear in our seemingly perfect union. Despite our shared nights, Lauren and I maintained separate rooms for our belongings, a decision we made to preserve our individuality and independence. While it allowed us space to pursue our own interests, it also created a rift, a subtle divide that grew wider with each passing day. And then, the unthinkable happened. The discovery of Lauren's infidelity shattered the fragile illusion of our marital bliss, plunging me into a maelstrom of heartache and betrayal. In that moment, I was faced with an impossible choice to turn a blind eye to her transgressions, or to confront her head-on, knowing that forgiveness might never be possible. In the end, I chose the path of honesty and integrity, confronting Lauren with the painful truth of her actions and refusing to let her escape accountability. Though the decision was agonizing, I knew that to condone her behavior would only perpetuate a cycle of betrayal and mistrust. As I navigate the aftermath of our shattered dreams, I am reminded of the fragility of love and the complexities of human nature. And though the road ahead may be fraught with uncertainty, I am determined to emerge stronger, wiser, and ready to embrace whatever the future may hold. Amidst the bustling demands of my business, I found solace in the belief that Lauren, my wife, was capable of managing her own affairs. Our relationship thrived on a foundation of trust and independence, allowing us both the freedom to pursue our individual passions without encroaching on each other's space. It was a dynamic that fostered personal growth, mutual respect, and a deep sense of admiration for one another. In an effort to celebrate our marriage and strengthen our bond, I orchestrated a luxurious 5-day cruise for Lauren and her closest friends. Though I opted to stay behind, I poured my heart into ensuring her happiness, confident that the experience would create lasting memories for her and her companions. However, as the days turned into weeks and months, I couldn't shake the gnawing sense of unease that lingered beneath the surface of our seemingly idyllic union. Despite our shared moments of love and passion, there remained an emotional chasm between us, a silent barrier that seemed to grow with each passing day. I grappled with the realization that Lauren continued to maintain a separate room, a physical manifestation of the emotional distance that had begun to pervade our relationship. Though I longed for her trust and intimacy, I hesitated to broach the subject, fearing that delving into our relationship concerns would only exacerbate the tension between us. Yet, when fate intervened and presented me with an unexpected opportunity to glimpse into Lauren's world, I couldn't resist the urge to unravel the mysteries that lay hidden within her private sanctuary. In a moment of curiosity, I found myself rifling through her belongings, searching for clues that might shed light on the enigmatic depths of her soul. What I discovered shook me to the core: an invitation to a private party, adorned with lavish promises of adoration and affection, addressed to none other than my beloved wife. With a sinking heart, I realized that Lauren's whereabouts were far from innocent, as she had led me to believe. Fueled by a sense of urgency and a desperate need for answers, I embarked on a clandestine mission to uncover the truth, driven by a cocktail of apprehension and determination. As I arrived at the opulent villa where the party was being held, a sense of foreboding washed over me, mingling with the pulsating rhythm of the music that reverberated through the night air. Despite my reservations, I steeled myself and ventured forth, determined to confront the reality of my wife's actions head-on. With each step forward, I braced myself for the inevitable reckoning that awaited me, a reckoning that would irrevocably alter the course of our marriage and force me to confront the painful truth lurking in the shadows of our once happy union. As I approached the front door of the villa, a surge of apprehension swept through me, causing me to hesitate before ringing the bell. Instead, I scanned the perimeter, searching for a vantage point that would afford me a glimpse into the clandestine gathering unfolding inside. Spotting a window with its blinds slightly ajar further down the wall, I stealthily crept towards it, careful not to attract attention. Peering through the narrow opening, I was met with a scene that defied comprehension. A group of men, their laughter drowned out by the pulsating music, gathered around something obscured from view. As I strained to make sense of the chaotic tableau before me, my eyes fell upon the figure of Lauren, clad in nothing but her underwear, amidst the throng of half-dressed revelers. A surge of disbelief and rage coursed through me as I watched in stunned silence. My initial impulse was to storm into the villa and whisk Lauren away from the debauchery unfolding within. Yet, in a moment of clarity amidst the tumult of emotions, a calculated resolve took hold. A plan began to form, fueled by a potent mixture of fury and determination. Retrieving a pen and paper, I meticulously noted the names of each participant, my mind already churning with thoughts of retribution. As I drove away from the scene of betrayal, the weight of betrayal hung heavy upon me. I had given Lauren everything: love, devotion, and unwavering support, only to be repaid with deceit and betrayal. The memory of our shared moments of intimacy and passion now tainted by the bitter sting of betrayal, fueled by a seething desire for vengeance. Arriving home, I greeted Lauren with a facade of normalcy, concealing the storm of emotions raging within me. As she recounted her evening, oblivious to the turmoil brewing beneath the surface, I bided my time, awaiting the opportune moment to set my plan into motion. The following evening, as Lauren sat beside me, her demeanor betraying no hint of the turmoil that raged within her husband's heart, I made a calculated move. Feigning nonchalance, I casually mentioned a forthcoming business trip, embellishing the truth with the addition of a fictional personal secretary named Catherine, a pawn in a game of retribution set to unfold in the days to come. I invited Catherine into the living room to meet Lauren, who greeted her with a less than enthusiastic demeanor. Sensing Lauren's fatigue after her eventful night, I suggested she take some rest while I had a private conversation with Catherine. Though I could tell Lauren wasn't pleased with my attention toward Catherine, she acquiesced without protest. As Catherine and I conversed, I made a deliberate gesture of placing my hand on her backside, ensuring that Lauren took notice. Over the course of an hour, I carefully outlined Catherine's role in the plan to subtly provoke and sow seeds of doubt in Lauren's mind about our relationship. My ultimate objective was to elicit a confession from Lauren about her clandestine activities. The following morning, to Lauren's surprise, Catherine entered our bedroom to wake me up. After hastily preparing myself, I informed Lauren that I would be away for 2 weeks, leaving her visibly taken aback by Catherine's presence in our intimate space. With that, Catherine and I departed, embarking on a mission to gather evidence against both Lauren and the men from the party. During my stay at a hotel, I meticulously documented any suspicious behavior exhibited by Lauren, as well as her interactions with the party attendees. Additionally, I enlisted the services of a private investigator to delve into the personal and professional backgrounds of the 6 individuals involved. Meanwhile, intrigued by Lauren's actions in my absence, I personally undertook surveillance to monitor her behavior. Upon her departure from the house, I discreetly followed Lauren's car to a hotel, where she rendezvoused with Matt Ryan, my main business rival. Over a meal, I observed their intimate exchange, noting Ryan's casual touches on Lauren's thigh, to which she made no effort to object. As they departed for Ryan's villa, I resolved to cease tailing them, confident in my plan to confront them both with the evidence gathered. After orchestrating a series of events to expose the infidelity of the men involved with Lauren, I decided to confront her with the ultimate revelation. I concocted a plan to gather all the men at a party under the guise of celebrating their unique bond with Lauren, the only woman who truly understood and accepted them. I meticulously arranged every detail of the event, ensuring that the villa was fully prepared and that all attendees left their phones at the entrance to isolate them from the outside world. As Lauren arrived, adorned in a red backless dress I had gifted her, I couldn't help but feel a sense of amusement at her audacity to wear something from me while enjoying herself with other men. With cameras strategically placed throughout the villa, including the bathrooms, I was determined not to miss a single moment of the unfolding drama. As the party commenced with music, drinks, and dancing, I live-streamed the event to all the companies involved, broadcasting it on every TV screen in my company and those of the other attendees. The scene that unfolded was nothing short of chaotic. The men, unaware of each other's presence, were shocked to discover they were all involved with the same woman. As tensions rose and accusations flew, I reveled in the chaos, knowing that my carefully crafted plan was unfolding exactly as I had envisioned. Amidst the turmoil, Lauren's facade began to crumble as she realized the extent of her betrayal. With nowhere to hide, she faced the consequences of her actions as the truth came to light in front of all the attendees. As the party descended into chaos, I sat back and watched, satisfied that justice had been served. Each of the men involved faced financial losses or personal repercussions, while Lauren was left to reckon with the consequences of her deceit. In the end, my elaborate scheme had achieved its desired outcome, exposing the truth and delivering a fitting punishment to those who had wronged me. And as I watched the chaos unfold, I couldn't help but feel a sense of vindication knowing that I had succeeded in bringing them all to justice. Amidst the glittering lights and pulsating rhythms of the party, I watched as the scene unfolded with a mix of satisfaction and vindication. The guests, unaware of their impending downfall, reveled in their fleeting moments of pleasure, oblivious to the storm brewing on the horizon. I had confiscated their phones, sealing their fates within the confines of the monitor room. As their devices buzzed incessantly with calls from their unsuspecting bosses and loved ones, I reveled in the irony of their unwitting participation in a live stream of their own downfall. With a bucket of popcorn in hand, I settled in for the show, eager to witness the unraveling of their carefully constructed facades. In the weeks leading up to this moment, I had meticulously orchestrated my revenge, meticulously documenting every betrayal and deception. For too long, I had been blind to the truth, ensnared by the charm of a woman who saw me only as a means to an end, a stepping stone to a life of luxury and privilege. But no more. The revelation of her infidelity cut deep, shattering the illusions of love and loyalty that I had clung to so desperately. It was a betrayal not just of our marriage vows, but of the trust and respect that formed the foundation of our relationship. And as I watched her entangled in the arms of another man, a man whom I had once called friend, I knew that there could be no forgiveness, no redemption. Armed with damning evidence of their indiscretions, I had set the stage for their downfall. The cameras continued to roll, capturing every intimate moment, every whispered promise, as they slept soundly in each other's arms. And as the first light of dawn broke through the darkness, signaling the end of the night's revelry, they departed one by one, leaving behind a trail of broken promises and shattered dreams. But my vengeance was far from over. In the days that followed, I ensured that they would face the consequences of their actions. Legal battles, defamation suits, financial ruin all awaited them, the consequences of their betrayal writ large for all to see. And as I watched their lives unravel before my eyes, I knew that justice had been served. As for her, the woman who had once held my heart in her hands, I made sure that she felt the full weight of her betrayal. With Catherine by my side, I orchestrated a campaign of psychological warfare, systematically dismantling her sense of security and self-worth. And as she stood before me, trembling with fear and uncertainty, I knew that she had finally realized the true cost of her actions. But even as I reveled in my victory, I knew that the wounds inflicted by her betrayal would never fully heal. The scars would remain, a constant reminder of the pain and betrayal that had torn our lives apart. And yet, as I stood amidst the ruins of our marriage, I knew that I had emerged stronger, wiser, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. For in the end, it was not the betrayal itself that defined me, but how I chose to respond to it. And as I looked to the future, I knew that I was ready to embrace whatever fate had in store, secure in the knowledge that I had faced my demons and emerged victorious. In a strategic maneuver to shift the dynamics, I choreographed an evening of enjoyment for Lauren, arranging a club outing for her and her friends. Sensing her recent discontent at home, I anticipated that this diversion would elevate her mood and occupy her, while I arranged the surprise awaiting her. Yet, behind the scenes, I ensured she remained under close surveillance. Receiving periodic updates on her activities, there was no chance of me trusting her again. As the night unfolded, a surge of excitement coursed through me as I meticulously orchestrated every detail of the surprise awaiting her. I eagerly anticipated witnessing her reaction to the spectacle I had prepared. When Lauren stumbled in around midnight, clearly intoxicated, her expression twisted into one of utter bewilderment upon seeing me seated on the couch with Catherine on my lap. Her drunken protests reverberated through the room as she demanded an explanation for the scene before her. With a smirk, I invited her to join us, relishing in her mounting frustration. Despite her accusations and attempts to dislodge Catherine from my lap, I instructed Catherine to remain seated, much to Lauren's dismay. Guiding her to the home theater, I initiated the playback of a particular video, a visual record of her indiscretions from that unforgettable night with the men. As the reality of her actions unfolded before her eyes, her complexion paled, and disbelief washed over her features. In a feeble attempt to salvage her dignity, she stuttered inquiries about the source of the footage, only to be met with my amused chuckle. Her attempts to defend herself fell short, the weight of her guilt palpable in the air. Seated beside her, I watched the footage with a mixture of amusement and satisfaction, occasionally offering commentary on her interactions with the men. Despite the gravity of the situation, I couldn't help but admire her skills in certain aspects, even motioning for her to join me on the couch so we could watch the entire spectacle together. As the scenes unfolded, I observed her reactions closely, noting the subtle shifts in her demeanor and the realization dawning upon her. It was a moment of reckoning, a confrontation with the consequences of her actions. In the aftermath, silence enveloped the room, punctuated only by the sound of the video playing in the background. Lauren's attempts to articulate a response were futile, her words faltering in the face of undeniable evidence. In that moment, the power dynamics had shifted decisively. It was clear that the tables had turned, and I held the upper hand. Yet, beneath the surface, a complex mix of emotions brewed: vindication, satisfaction, and a tinge of regret for the unraveling of our relationship. As the night wore on, we remained ensconced in the theater, immersed in the unfolding drama on the screen. It was a surreal experience, watching the events of that fateful night play out before our eyes, each frame serving as a stark reminder of the fragility of trust and the consequences of betrayal. Given that she had limited options, Lauren reluctantly took her seat, her head bowed in shame. It was evident that she had come to terms with the magnitude of her mistake, as the damning footage played out before her eyes. Despite her discomfort, I subjected her to 2 hours of the video, remarking on its entertainment value. Lauren remained silent, her defense shattered, and she began to offer a meek apology. In an attempt to save face, she spun a tale of being swept away by the moment, claiming that the men had dared her to spend the night with them, an excuse I found surprisingly creative. Feigning sympathy, I suggested that she could have used her status as my wife to extricate herself from the situation, but she insisted on protecting my reputation, showcasing her adeptness at fabricating plausible explanations. Pretending to sympathize with her plight, I lured her to the dining table under the pretense of offering her a glass of water. Placing the glass atop a piece of paper, I orchestrated the revelation of the invitation she had hidden, shattering her illusion of deception. In that moment of realization, tears streamed down her face as she crumbled to the ground, her tears serving as her only defense. Confronted with irrefutable evidence, she could no longer justify her actions, and after coaxing her to confess, I made the difficult decision to eject her from the house. Despite her pleas for redemption, I remained resolute, unwilling to repeat past mistakes by extending forgiveness where it was undeserved. Though the choice was agonizing, it was imperative for my own well-being and dignity. As I contemplated the road ahead, I knew that closing this chapter was necessary for my growth and self-preservation. I made a solemn vow to myself that if ever my heart inclined toward another, I would subject any potential suitor to rigorous scrutiny, ensuring their suitability for a place in my life. This was the most profound lesson I gleaned from Lauren's treachery. In a mere week's time, I had my legal counsel serve her with divorce papers, ensuring she would not receive a single penny from me after the havoc she wreaked. Additionally, I orchestrated the dissemination of damning photos and videos capturing her infidelity, intending to publicly shame and besmirch her reputation, making it arduous for her to secure employment. I even took the liberty of cautioning major corporations against considering her for hire. Keeping a private investigator on her tail ensured I remained abreast of her every move, hoping she would face the harsh realities of life sans my support. I harbored a fervent desire for her to rue her actions daily, encountering obstacles in securing lodging and facing rejection in her pursuit of employment. Despite her audacious demands for alimony and property, I found myself bemused by her temerity. Her attempt to feign pregnancy to secure financial gain was swiftly dismantled during a court-ordered DNA test, revealing her deceit in full measure. Concurrently with the divorce proceedings, I initiated a defamation lawsuit against her, underscoring the depth of her betrayal. When she implored the judge to consider her financial plight, asserting her inability to remunerate me, I couldn't help but marvel at the irony of her predicament. She failed to foresee these consequences when she made the fateful decision to betray my trust. The past 3 months have been a tumultuous saga since our marriage. I recount these trials not to elicit sympathy, but to provide solace amidst the anguish and torment I've endured. Adhering to my vengeance plan was a formidable challenge, punctuated by moments of profound despair when the weight of betrayal threatened to engulf me. Initially, I harbored the belief that Lauren was different, that she possessed a depth of character beyond material gain. Yet, her true intentions gradually unveiled themselves, revealing her as avaricious and duplicitous. Her aversion to sharing a living space with me from the outset now makes perfect sense. It provided a cloak for her clandestine liaisons. Though painful, I am grateful to have unearthed her true nature before matters spiraled further out of control. Love, as the adage goes, proved not only blind, but also deceitful. From this juncture, I embark on a daunting journey, navigating the wreckage of a marriage shattered by betrayal and the ensuing battle to salvage my reputation. The aftermath of betrayal is an arduous journey, fraught with the weight of judgment and the burden of self-reflection. As I navigate the labyrinth of emotions that follows the revelation of deception, I find myself grappling with a multitude of conflicting thoughts and feelings, each vying for dominance in the tumult of my mind. There is a pervasive sense of disbelief, an incredulity that someone I held so dear could betray my trust so callously. It is a bitter pill to swallow, this realization that the person I once believed in without question was capable of such deceit. Yet, as much as I may wish to deny it, the evidence is undeniable, staring back at me with cold, unflinching clarity. Alongside the disbelief is a profound sense of hurt, a deep-seated ache that gnaws at the core of my being. It is a pain born not only from the betrayal itself, but also from the shattered illusions and broken dreams that now lie in its wake. I mourn not only for the loss of trust, but also for the loss of the future I had envisioned, a future that now seems irretrievably tarnished by the actions of another. Yet, amidst the pain and disillusionment, there is a flicker of anger, a righteous indignation that burns within me like a smoldering ember. How dare they, I find myself thinking, how dare they deceive me so completely and betray the love and trust I had placed in them? It is a seething rage that simmers just beneath the surface, threatening to erupt at any moment in a torrent of righteous fury. But alongside the anger, there is also a profound sense of sadness, a melancholy realization of all that has been lost. It is a grief that washes over me in waves, leaving me feeling adrift and alone in a sea of uncertainty. I mourn not only for the loss of the relationship itself, but also for the loss of the person I thought I knew, the person I believed them to be. In the midst of this emotional maelstrom, I find myself grappling with a multitude of questions, each more daunting than the last. How could I have been so blind, so naive, to trust so completely in someone who was capable of such deception? What signs did I miss? What red flags did I ignore, in my desperate desire to believe in the facade of love and loyalty they presented? And perhaps most troubling of all, what does this betrayal say about me, about my own judgment and character? Was I too trusting, too willing to see the best in others, or was I simply a victim of circumstances beyond my control? These questions weigh heavily on my mind, casting a shadow of doubt over everything I once believed to be true. In the midst of this turmoil, I find myself searching for answers, for some semblance of understanding in the chaos that surrounds me. Yet, even as I seek solace in the wisdom of others, I am painfully aware that the journey toward healing and redemption must ultimately be undertaken alone. It is a daunting prospect, to be sure, but one that I am determined to face with courage and resilience. For though the road ahead may be long and fraught with obstacles, I refuse to be defined by the betrayal of another. I will rise from the ashes of deception, stronger and more resilient than ever before, and emerge from this crucible of pain and suffering with my spirit intact. And in doing so, I will reclaim not only my sense of self-worth, but also my faith in the inherent goodness of humanity. He caused a lot of damage when we first dated, but can I even blame him? He's not part of my marriage. My husband and kids are. I've ruined everything, and it's irreparable. I haven't told my husband yet. He's unaware of my betrayal. Our relationship is going through a tough time. I still haven't found a job, but I'm taking care of our kids. I've become more attentive to him, more loving, and doing things he enjoys. I've started to appreciate him more, but the pain I feel every day is tearing me apart. Whenever I look at him, I wonder how he'd react if he found out about my mistakes. I really don't want to lose him. I've been going to therapy and learning more about myself. I've read books that made me realize that even though our marriage had some minor problems like his depression, our financial issues, and my distance at times, I chose to ignore them and justify my affair instead. Every day, my husband and I are growing apart. I can feel it. There's this invisible distance between us. We don't talk as much, partly because of my past behavior and rudeness, which made him less affectionate. He doesn't initiate intimacy anymore because I rejected him during my affairs and even made fun of him. Now, he rejects me every time and says he doesn't want me. I've gained weight, and he no longer finds me attractive. Even if I dress the way he likes, he doesn't compliment me. This year, he didn't plan anything for Valentine's Day. For the first time, I made his favorite dinner, but when I served it, he said he didn't want it and went to bed because he was tired from work. I dressed up in his favorite outfit and did my hair the way he likes, but it didn't make a difference. It really hurt. I know I'm the one who messed up, but I want to make things right. I want to fight for my home, my family, my love, and my husband. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make it work. I promise. However, there's a heaviness in my heart. I cry every day. I want to talk to him. I want to hold him and cry together. I know things have reached a point where it feels like the end, but it's not. I'm determined to fix my marriage, but every day serves as a painful reminder of what I did. His cold and distant behavior breaks me. I love him, and I made a terrible choice that's tearing me apart inside. I want to confess to him, be completely honest, but I don't know how to do it. My husband doesn't know, and I don't have the courage to tell him about my mistake.